News is live in Santee, where a plane crashed just outside of a home.
People who live in Santee saw it all.
I could tell he wasn't going to make it. The only question was he going to hit the field or the houses?
Well, 10 News takes you to that neighborhood for the investigation into the crash that killed the pilot.
10 News begins with breaking news.
And our breaking news is out of Santee, where a pilot is dead after crashing outside a Santee home. I'm Jason Martinez.
And I'm Vanessa Van Hefty in for Virginia Cha this morning. 10 News has live team coverage, starting with reporter Jared Aarons. He is live in Santee with a witness to this disaster. Jared.
Jason and Vanessa, what a frantic and frightening moment for the people that live down this street. This is Paseo de los Castillos, just off of Roan in Santee. It's right next to Gillespie Field, where at about 9:15 this morning, a plane crashed into a couple of cars and a home on this street. It's actually in a cul-de-sac as you're looking down the street to the left a little bit of where those police cars are and that line of police tape. Witnesses tell us that the plane was banking hard. It looked like it was trying to return to Gillespie Field when it went down. It hit two cars, from what we've been told, and also crashed into a house and landed upside down. The Santee fire chief told us earlier today that one person in the plane died during the crash and another person has been taken to the hospital in critical condition. No one on the ground and no one in the homes was injured, but people came outside immediately, started calling 911 and seeing what they could do. I'd like to bring in now Tommy McCormick, who was home today, sick from school, and heard everything. Tommy, you live nearby. Take me through what you heard and what you saw this morning.
I was sleeping this morning and I woke up from a loud explosion, and my first thought was like maybe two cars crashed, because it sometimes happens around the corner down there, that corner right down there. But when I walked outside, I heard people screaming fire, and I looked to my right, and 2 houses away was a plane, and it was upside down, and in the front of the plane was a fire, and yeah,
just a frightening moment, I have to imagine. What was going through your head when you looked outside and you saw a plane upside down in your neighbor's front yard?
I was just in shock. I didn't really know what to do, but just to like stand there and just wait for the people to just like tell me what to do or something. I was just like so surprised that this would happen.
And then the sheriff's department came in, police came in, they roped this whole area off. You mentioned you were home sick. Your parents were not at home at the time. They had to come back here. And how were you able to reconnect with them this morning?
Well, I just called them. I just called them, tell my mom just to come home, and then they wouldn't let her in, so I just walked back up here.
Walked back up here. Tommy, again, you see the plane upside down, and did you know at that time, I mean, did it look like a really bad crash? Did it look like the plane was destroyed? What condition was it in?
It was all like squished at the top, just like upside down, so I couldn't really see it, but in the front, it looked pretty bad because it was on fire, and it looked like the person was like up there, so it looked like he was like being burned or something.
Well, Tommy, thank you very much. Again, we know the one person in that plane passed away this morning, another person in critical condition. Thank you again, Tommy. Fire chief told us that there was a lot of smoke, but no major fire this morning, and people were actually out earlier today hosing down the plane almost right after it crashed. I spoke to someone who heard the whole thing and saw the plane as it was in the air trying to make its return to Gillespie Field. If we have the sound, take a listen to what this man said about what he saw this morning. Okay, we will try and get that sound for you in just a few minutes. In the meantime, 10 News reporter Kristen Keogh has been on the phone all morning long. She's learned a lot about the plane that crashed just from its tail number. Kristen, what can you tell us about that plane, and also what do you know about where it came from?
So we've learned that this plane is from Voller Corps. That is a flight school based out of El Cajon, but offers lessons from Gillespie Field. So it's very possible that there was a pilot on board this flight, but that is unconfirmed at this time. I do want to show you a picture of the plane, very similar to the plane we're talking about today. It is a Piper brand P-28 Cherokee. And what we know about this type of aircraft, it is a fixed wing, single engine plane. It's designed for training and personal use, which again, it does sound unconfirmed, like this was a training flight out of Gillespie Field. So it's not clear what caused this crash, if there was potentially something wrong with the aircraft. We have heard from witnesses out here all morning that they heard sputtering before, but of course the FAA and the NTSB will have a very extensive investigation to do to learn exactly what went wrong in this single plane crash.